There are days when your body feels heavy, your eyes want to close, and all you want is to lie down and escape from everything. Out there, people might call this laziness, procrastination, or lack of discipline. But what if this urge to lie down all day is not a defect in you, but a message from a deeper place? What if your soul is asking for rest? What if this hidden tiredness is the language your subconscious mind uses to say, the way you are living is no longer aligned with who you are meant to be? Modern life celebrates movement, productivity, and constant noise. You are praised when you are busy and questioned when you are quiet. Yet your inner world follows another law, the law of mind that Joseph Murphy taught. What you impress in your subconscious mind becomes expression in your body, emotions, and circumstances. If your inner talk is constant pressure, fear, self-criticism, and worry, your subconscious will eventually pull the brakes. And one of the ways it does that is by taking away your energy. It makes you want to lie down, to stop, to disconnect. Not because you are weak, but because something inside knows you cannot continue living only on the outside. You need to come back to the inside. Think of your soul as a quiet, luminous presence behind all your thoughts. It does not shout. It does not force you. It whispers. At first, it whispers through intuition, a feeling that you should slow down, a desire for silence, a strange discomfort with environments and people that once felt normal. When we ignore these whispers, the subconscious mind amplifies the signal. The body becomes tired, the motivation disappears, the mind no longer finds meaning in the same routines. You want to lie down all day not because your life is worthless, but because the way you've been living is too small for who you truly are. From the perspective of Joseph Murphy in New Thought, everything begins in thought. Your constant inner images are like seeds thrown into the fertile soil of the subconscious. For years, you may have planted ideas such as, I must always be available. If I rest, I'm useless. I'm only valuable when I am producing. If I say no, they won't love me. These seeds grow into invisible chains that keep you in emotional slavery. Your body, however, is loyal to truth. It cannot sustain a lie forever. The tiredness you feel, the desire to stretch out and do nothing, often is your nervous system trying to repair what your consciousness keeps breaking every day. Have you noticed how your thoughts affect your energy? On days when you wake up already thinking, I won't handle this, I'm late in everything, my life is a mess, your body becomes heavier, your muscles lose strength, even your breathing becomes shallow. That is not a coincidence. The subconscious mind believes what you repeatedly think and feel. When your inner pattern is fear, the body contracts. When your inner pattern is guilt, your energy drains away. When your pattern is self-rejection, the simplest tasks become mountains to climb. Your soul is not tired of work. It is tired of living separated from meaning. It is tired of being treated as a machine that must perform without pause. It is tired of being compared to others, measured by external standards, criticized every time it tries to rest and reconnect. Many people lie down because their body is exhausted. But many others lie down because their hope is exhausted. They no longer believe that their existence matters, that their presence makes a difference, that there is a divine purpose for their journey. The urge to stay in bed becomes a refuge from a world where they no longer feel at home. Joseph Murphy would say that this state is not a condemnation, but a call. The same subconscious that created these patterns can also dissolve them. The same mind that impressed guilt can now impress a new image of gentle self-acceptance. The same inner force that locked you inside the room of tiredness can open the door to a new way of living. The law of mind does not take sides. It does not choose for or against you. It simply reproduces what you believe. If, deep inside, you believe that you do not deserve rest unless you're almost dying, your life will push you to the point of collapse. If you believe that rest is sacred, that silence is the temple of the soul, that your value does not depend on how much you do. Your subconscious will begin to orchestrate circumstances for you to slow down without losing your dignity. Right now, as you listen to these words, something in you recognizes the truth. Maybe you have blamed yourself for a long time, calling yourself lazy, weak, or broken. Maybe you have heard from others that you do nothing, that you have no ambition, that you just want to lie down. But deep down, you know that this is not the whole story. Deep down, you feel that there is a wisdom in your tiredness, a mysterious intelligence in this inner shutdown. Your soul is asking for a different kind of life. A life in which productivity does not kill presence, in which success does not require self-betrayal, in which rest is not a crime, but a spiritual discipline. If you believe there's something greater guiding your life, subscribe now and like this video to continue your transformation journey. Because this is not just another motivational talk. This is a conversation with that part of you that you have ignored for too long. The part of you that remembers who you are, that knows your essence is divine, that understands your tiredness not as defeat, but as a turning point. In the next moments, I want you to gently observe your own life. How long have you been forcing yourself to be strong, to be available, to be there for everyone, while your own heart remains unattended? How many times have you silenced your desire to rest because the world demands performance? How often have you looked at your bed, your sofa, that quiet place, feeling a magnetic pull to lie down, not out of laziness, but out of an almost sacred longing for peace? Your subconscious mind has recorded every night you went to sleep anxious, every morning you woke up already tired, every time you push your limits, every yes you gave when you wanted to say no. It has registered each moment of emotional overload, each sadness swallowed in silence, each worry about the future. Now, it is trying to heal you by slowing you down. When the soul cannot get your attention through intuition, it will try through fatigue. When spirit cannot whisper through inspiration, it will speak through emptiness. You're not here to live permanently lying down, hiding from life. But you're also not here to spend your existence running away from yourself. Real rest is not escape. It is reunion. Real rest is not absence. It is presence at a deeper level. When your soul asks for rest, it is inviting you to return home to your own being, to your own breath, to your own connection with the infinite. It is asking you to turn off the external noise so that you can finally hear what your inner wisdom has been trying to say for years. Have you noticed how, when you lie down in silence with an open heart, thoughts start to arise that you never allowed yourself to feel during the day? Old memories, buried pain, forgotten dreams, subtle insights. That is not random. The moment you give the subconscious mind a pause from external stimuli, it begins to bring to the surface what needs to be seen, healed, and transformed. Your bed can become either a grave of your dreams or an altar of your rebirth. The difference lies in how you use your mind while you rest. Your soul is asking for rest, not so you can abandon life, but so you can re-enter life from a higher state of consciousness. The desire to lie down all day is a symptom, not a destiny. It is a sign that the way you have been organizing your days, believing your thoughts, carrying other people's burdens, is unsustainable. Underneath that tiredness, there is a call to awaken. And it is this call that we will explore more deeply as we continue. When Joseph Murphy spoke about the subconscious mind, he loved using simple images. One of them is the garden. Your conscious mind is the gardener. Your subconscious is the soil. The soil never argues. It never says, I don't like this seed. It receives, accepts, and multiplies. If you plant roses, it gives you roses. If you plant thorns, it gives you thorns. In the same way, for years, you may have planted thoughts like, I am never enough. I have no time to rest. If I stop, I'll lose everything. I must always be strong. These seeds, repeated with emotion, became deep-rooted beliefs. And now, without you noticing, they keep producing fruit. Chronic tension, inner restlessness, sleepless nights, and the constant urge to lie down and turn everything off. The law of mind says, as within, so without. Your outer life is the visible projection of your inner beliefs. If your soul is asking for rest, it is because your inner world has been neglected. You may have become an expert in solving problems for others, fulfilling external demands, meeting deadlines, and surviving crises, but a beginner in listening to your own heart. You might know how to answer emails, messages, and calls, but not how to answer the silent call of your own being. The subconscious mind sees this imbalance. It knows that a life lived only towards the outside, without roots in the inside, falls with the first strong wind. Imagine a tree that never sends its roots deeper into the soil. On the surface, it grows quickly, it stretches, it spreads branches everywhere. People admire its height, its leaves, its apparent strength. But underground, its roots remain shallow. A few summers later, in a strong storm, the tree falls. It did not lack movement, it lacked depth. Many lives today look like that. Much activity, much exposure, much noise, but little depth, little silence, little contact with the invisible foundation of being. Your soul asks for rest because it knows that without roots, your achievements will not sustain you. Have you ever wondered why some people do much and feel alive, while others do much and feel empty? The difference is not the quantity of action, but the quality of consciousness behind the action. When you act from fear of not being enough, from the need to prove your value, from the terror of being forgotten, each task drains your energy. When you act from inner fullness, from a sense of purpose, from awareness of your unity with the divine, the same tasks can become an expression of joy. The body gets tired, naturally, but the soul remains nourished. When your soul is malnourished, however, even a simple day feels unbearable. Joseph Murphy explains that the subconscious mind tends always towards life, expansion, and harmony. Even what appears as a problem, a blockage, a symptom, is often an attempt to restore balance. The tiredness that makes you want to lie down may be your subconscious pressing an emergency button. Stop. If you continue, you will break something important inside. Instead of cursing your lack of energy, what if you saw it as a wise defense mechanism? What if, instead of saying, "I am useless," you said to yourself, "My soul is protecting me from paths that are hurting me"? There is also another aspect we rarely talk about. Sometimes you want to lie down all day not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing what is not aligned with your inner truth. You could be working little, but on something that suffocates your spirit. You could be surrounded by people, and yet completely alone in what really matters. Every time you betray your inner voice just to fit in, to avoid conflict, or to maintain an image, you burn the oil of the soul. Over weeks, months, years, this invisible burning turns into an emotional exhaustion that no physical rest can heal. Which thought do you repeat most during the day? And what is it creating in your life? When you wake up, is your first inner sentence, "Thank you, God, for another opportunity," or "I can't stand this anymore"? When you lie down, do you mentally bless your day or silently curse everything and everyone? The subconscious mind does not differentiate between a thought you repeat only in your head and a prayer you say in a temple. For it, everything that you think with feeling is a command. If your inner language about life is always heavy, your experience of life will also be heavy. The urge to lie down then becomes a natural attempt to escape from the environment created by your own thoughts. Let's imagine a person named Daniel. For years, he worked in a job he did not like, but that gave him a sense of safety. Every day, he woke up already thinking, "I hate this, but I need this." He forced himself, drank coffee, pushed his body to the limit. He refused to rest, because resting reminded him of the emptiness he felt inside. Whenever he had a free moment, instead of listening to his soul, he would fill it with distractions, social media, noise, anything to avoid the silence. After years of this pattern, something happened. One morning, Daniel simply cannot get up, not because his body was physically destroyed, but because his inner world was saying enough. Doctors called it burnout, depression, anxiety. On the level of the soul, it was also an awakening. The system he built no longer worked. His subconscious had decided that it was safer to stop than to continue that way. This does not mean, of course, that we should romanticize suffering or ignore professional help. Sometimes exhaustion has medical causes that need attention. But beyond any diagnosis, the law of mind remains. Your subconscious uses every experience to guide you back to truth. If you pay attention, you will see that the periods in which you most wanted to escape life were also the periods in which life was most inviting you to change direction. Comment, "I believe in divine power," if you feel that behind your tiredness, there's a greater force calling you back to yourself. This simple act is not just about engagement. It is an affirmation. It is you saying to your subconscious, "I recognize that something sacred is happening inside me, even if I don't understand everything yet." Joseph Murphy taught that the power of belief is the steering wheel of destiny. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Not as he occasionally thinks, but as he constantly thinks and feels. The heart, in the spiritual sense, is your subconscious. If in your heart you believe that you are alone, unsupported, and condemned to struggle, your life will reflect that. If in your heart you begin to believe that there is a divine presence walking with you, guiding your steps, honoring your need for rest and renewal, your whole experience of tiredness will change. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, you will see it as a spiritual signal. The subconscious is also deeply influenced by images. If every time you feel tired you imagine yourself as a failure, as someone falling behind, as someone who will never build anything, your inner screen becomes a theater of despair. Your body sees those images and responds with more weakness. But if, when you lie down, you imagine something different, perhaps a gentle light wrapping your body, your mind resting in God, your heart being held by an infinite love, your nervous system begins to relax, your breathing deepens, and your energy slowly returns. The same act of lying down, guided by different images, produces different results. The truth is, your soul is asking for rest because it is asking for contact. The rest it longs for is not only of muscles and bones, but of identity and belief. It is asking for you to stop defining yourself only by what you do, by what others think, by how much you produce. It is calling you to remember that you are more than your fatigue, more than your to-do list, more than your failures and successes. You are an expression of infinite mind. You are a channel for divine life. And divine life does not run in desperation. It flows in order, harmony, and rhythm. As you start to understand this, your relationship with rest changes. You no longer feel guilty when your body needs a pause, because you know that this pause is part of your spiritual growth. You no longer see your desire to lie down as a curse, but as a message to be decoded. In the next part, we will talk about how to respond consciously to this message. How to use scientific prayer, affirmations, and visualization, tools so dear to Joseph Murphy, to transform your tiredness into a portal of healing and awakening. Now that you understand your tiredness not as a random enemy, but as a message from your inner world, the question becomes, what do you do with this message? Joseph Murphy did not teach people to deny their feelings. He taught them to direct their feelings, to take the raw material of pain, fear, or exhaustion and consciously shape it into new thoughts, new beliefs, new images. This is the essence of scientific prayer. You join your conscious mind and your subconscious in one clear, loving intent, and allow the divine power within you to respond. Scientific prayer is not about begging a distant God to do something for you. It is about aligning your thinking with the truth of who you are, so that the God within you, the infinite intelligence of your subconscious, can work freely. When your soul is asking for rest, your prayer is not, "God, make me productive again so I can continue the same life." Your deeper prayer is, "God, show me how to live in a way that honors my energy, my mission, and my connection to you. Show me what must be changed in my thoughts, habits, and beliefs so that my life becomes a channel for peace, not a factory of anxiety." Let us imagine a simple practice. When you feel the urge to lie down, instead of grabbing your phone or drowning in guilty thoughts, you decide to transform this moment into a spiritual exercise. You lie down, close your eyes, and place one hand on your heart and one on your abdomen. You take a few gentle breaths, and then you say quietly, with sincerity, "Infinite presence within me, I know you are here. I know you are peace, wisdom, and balance. My soul is tired. My thoughts are heavy. I don't want to run from life, but I also don't want to betray myself anymore. I now give you my tiredness. I ask that you renew my mind, my emotions, and my body. Guide me into a new rhythm, a new way of living. I accept your rest, your order, and your love." This is not a mechanical formula. It is a conversation. In that moment, you are impressing the subconscious with a new image. Instead of being alone lying in bed, you are together with the divine, resting in a greater love. If you repeat this kind of prayer day after day, with feeling, your inner patterns will begin to shift. You will notice that some tasks that used to drain you lose their power. Some relationships may naturally reposition themselves. Ideas about how to organize your time, take care of your body, and cultivate silence will emerge spontaneously. Have you noticed how your body responds when it feels safe? Shoulders drop, the jaw softens, breathing slows, thoughts become clearer. Safety is not only physical, it is mental and spiritual. When your subconscious mind believes that life is a constant threat, it keeps you in a state of inner alertness. Rest becomes difficult because your system is always on. Part of scientific prayer for rest is to teach your subconscious that it is safe to relax, that it is safe to slow down, that it is safe to be rather than constantly do. One powerful affirmation inspired by Murphy for those who feel constantly tired is, "The peace of God fills my mind, my nervous system, and my body. I am guided by divine wisdom into a rhythm of life that restores me. My rest is blessed. My work is blessed. I live in a sacred balance." When you repeat this slowly before sleeping, your subconscious receives it as a seed. During the night, while your conscious mind is off duty, the subconscious continues to work on that pattern. Over time, your nights become more restorative, your mornings less heavy, your days less oppressive. Which area of your life do you feel most out of balance right now? Work, relationships, health, or inner life? Reflect for a moment. Many times, your soul asks for rest in one area because another area is overcrowded. Maybe your work occupies all your mental space, leaving no room for joy. Maybe your emotional life is full of unresolved conflicts, demanding energy you no longer have. Maybe you are carrying responsibilities that are not yours, loaded with worries about people and situations you cannot control. Your subconscious registers all of this, and its way of saying enough is through the feeling that you just can't anymore. Tell us in the comments which area of your life you want to transform. Your word is a powerful seed. When you write, for example, "I want to transform my relationship with work," or "I want to transform how I treat myself," you are not only informing us, you are informing your own subconscious. You are planting a clear seed of intention. The law of mind responds much more strongly to what is stated with clarity and sincerity than to what is merely felt in a vague way. Joseph Murphy insisted that visualization is one of the greatest keys to reprogramming the subconscious. So let us create together a new inner image around rest. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a version of you that lives in a different rhythm. See yourself waking up with more lightness, even if there are still challenges. Imagine yourself starting the day with a few minutes of silence, consciously inviting the divine presence into your schedule. See yourself throughout the day pausing, even briefly, to breathe, to remember who you are, to release tension. Now, imagine the moment when the old pattern would push you to lie down all day. In the past, this might have been the beginning of a spiral of guilt and self-hate. But in this new image, see yourself lying down with intention. Instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone, you close your eyes and say, I rest in God. My soul finds refuge in divine love. While my body lies, my spirit rises. Feel a gentle light coming from above, entering through the top of your head, flowing through your mind, relaxing your thoughts, descending through your neck, shoulders, chest, and abdomen. This light touches every tense area, not forcing you to get up, but showing you that you are not alone in your fatigue. Comment, I believe in divine power if, as you picture this, you can sense even a small spark of hope. This comment is not magic by itself, but it is an act of agreement. You are saying, I agree with the idea that there is a divine intelligence capable of renewing me from the inside. Sometimes, your urge to lie down all day hides a deeper fear, the fear of facing certain truths. The truth that your job is killing you inside. The truth that a relationship is draining your soul. The truth that you have been ignoring your own gifts. Scientific prayer is not an escape from truth. It is a way of facing truth supported by infinite love. When you pray, visualize, affirm, you're not just asking for energy to endure the same life. You are asking for courage to adjust your life to your soul. Perhaps you are wondering, but what if I pray and nothing changes? What if I still feel tired? This is a very human question. Joseph Murphy would respond, persistence is part of the law. Your subconscious did not become exhausted in one day. It was impressed over years. Many of your beliefs about rest, work, and value came from childhood, culture, religion, society. They won't all dissolve in one night. But every time you choose a new thought, every time you bless your rest instead of cursing it, every time you transform your bed into an altar of conscious connection, you are weakening the old pattern and strengthening the new. Ask yourself honestly, have you noticed even small changes in your energy when you shift your thoughts? Maybe on a day when you woke up and remembered to say thank you for this day instead of I hate my life, the first moments felt different. Maybe when you allowed yourself a short break without guilt, you returned a little clearer. These small events are not trivial. They're proofs that the law of mind is already responding. Scientific prayer is like water falling on dry soil. At first, the ground absorbs everything and nothing seems to happen. But under the surface, seeds are swelling, roots are forming. Soon, life will break through. In the next part, we will bring everything together into a powerful closing. We will talk about how to keep walking even when you still feel tired, how to listen to your soul without surrendering to stagnation, and how to transform this season of wanting to lie down into the beginning of a deeper walk with the divine presence that lives in you. At this point, you have walked through an inner landscape that perhaps you rarely visit. You have looked at your tiredness without judgment, listened to your desire to lie down all day without immediately labeling yourself as lazy or broken. You have seen that behind this urge there may be a spiritual call, a subconscious reaction, a need for truth. Now it is time to gather these insights and translate them into a way of living. Because the goal is not to glorify exhaustion nor to remain in bed forever. The goal is to awaken to a life where rest and action are not enemies, but partners. where your soul is not ignored, but consulted. Everything begins in thought. This is the central idea we must carry from Joseph Murphy's teachings. Your life is always moving in the direction of your most persistent thoughts. If your inner talk continues to be, "I am useless, I will never get out of this, my life is over," your subconscious will keep you in the vibration of defeat. But if little by little you begin to think and feel, "There's a wisdom in my process, there is a divine presence guiding me, I can learn a new way, I am allowed to change," your subconscious will gently open doors that you could not see before. The first practical step is to stop fighting your tiredness with hate. Fight, in this sense, does not bring freedom. Understanding does. When the urge to lie down comes, instead of launching a war within yourself, choose curiosity. Ask, what is my soul asking for right now? Is it asking for physical rest, emotional rest, mental rest, or spiritual rest? Physical rest may mean sleep or simply pausing your body. Emotional rest might mean distancing yourself from draining conversations, not consuming news that only feed fear, taking a break for relationships that constantly demand. Mental rest might mean not solving problems all the time, allowing silence without filling it with information. Spiritual rest, finally, might mean time in prayer, meditation, contemplation, time just to be in the presence of God without having to say or do anything. Have you noticed that some of your most important insights came not when you were busy, but when you were quiet? In the shower, lying on your bed, looking at the sky, walking slowly. Why is that? Because, as Joseph Murphy explained, when the conscious mind relaxes, the subconscious can communicate more easily. When you stop pushing, inspiration flows. When you give yourself permission to do nothing, God finally has space to speak to you. This means that your desire to lie down can become a portal of listening. When you lie down, instead of diving into despair or distraction, you can turn your attention inward and say, "Infinite Mind, what are you trying to show me through this tiredness? What do you want me to release? What do you want me to embrace? I am here. I am listening." Stay there, even if at first you hear only silence. The silence itself is healing because it is the opposite of the noise that has been killing your soul. The second practical step is to consciously plant new beliefs about rest and value. You can repeat, morning and night, affirmations like, "My value does not depend on my productivity. I'm a child of God, loved and guided. I have the right to rest, to breathe, to reorient my life. As I rest in divine presence, new strength comes to me. My energy returns in the right measure for the life I am meant to live." These are not empty phrases. They are mental programming. Each time you declare them with sincerity, you are re-educating your subconscious. Which self-judgment are you willing to release today? The belief that you are lazy? The belief that you are far behind? The belief that you are outside of God's plans? At some point, you will need to choose. Either you continue feeding these beliefs that kill you inside, or you begin to choose beliefs that align with the truth that you're not abandoned, not forgotten, not defective. You are in process. You are being called to a deeper level of living. The third step is to take small, concrete actions that reflect the inner change. Maybe it is committing to 5 minutes of conscious prayer before picking up your phone in the morning. Maybe it is scheduling a real day of rest every week, not only for your body but for your mind, a day of less input, less pressure. Maybe it is finally seeking professional help for your emotional or physical health while maintaining the spiritual work. Faith is not passivity. It is aligned action. When your actions, even small ones, echo the new beliefs you are planting, the subconscious receives a strong message. This is serious. We are really changing. What's the first positive thought you will plant in your subconscious today? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when your tiredness magically disappears, but today. Maybe it is simple, "I am loved." Maybe it is, "I'm allowed to rest." Maybe it is, I'm being guided. Choose one. Write it down. Repeat it. Let it accompany you when you lie down, when you get up, when your mind tries to drag you back into the old pattern of self-hate. Over time, you will begin to notice something subtle. Your desire to lie down will still come, but it will feel different. It will be less about escape and more about connection. The guilt around rest will slowly lose strength. You will start to sense that your energy returns more easily after resting consciously. You may also discover that some activities that you believed were essential can be dropped without the world ending. The more you align with your soul, the more your life begins to rearrange itself in your favor. And remember, you are not doing this alone. The same divine intelligence that makes your heart beat and your lungs expand is the intelligence that can reorder your mind, your habits, and your circumstances. You do not need to know exactly how the change will happen. Your task is to choose new thoughts, to cultivate inner silence, to pray scientifically, to visualize harmony, to take small aligned actions. The infinite mind will take care of the details. If, at any point, you feel like giving up, go back to the center. Put your hand on your heart, breathe, and say, even if I don't see clearly, I choose to trust. My soul is not abandoned. My rest is not wasted. God is working in me, through me, and around me. This simple act, repeated, can be the bridge between another day lost in bed and a day in which bed becomes a sacred place of reconnection. Now I want to invite you to one last inner gesture. Take a breath and imagine, right now, the divine light is visiting the room where you are. It has not come to judge you for how many days you have spent lying down. It has not come to compare you with anyone. It comes as pure compassion, as pure understanding. It sits beside your bed, your sofa, your chair, and looks at you with infinite tenderness. In this gaze, there is no accusation. There is only invitation. My child, come and rest in me so that you can live again. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to continue your journey of personal, mental, financial, and spiritual transformation. The power is within you, and each new video is a step to awaken it. Your soul is asking for rest, yes, but not because it wants to escape life. It is asking for rest so that you can wake up to a new way of living, in which the law of mind and the love of God work together to create a life that truly fits your soul.